Welcome back to the Mid-Year Mitch YouTube channel. In today's episode, I'm finishing up the last couple details so we can mount the center field 65 on its chassis. I also set up a new lifting rig to make that job a lot easier, so be sure to stick around. The firewall back for the center field 65 is basically done. There's a couple little more details I need to do before I put the body on the chassis, but I want to redesign my lift rig because what I've been using is a little bit sketchy. This is what you get whenever you order a strap kit from your Corvette supplier. There's a strap set that is way too long if you're using a beam with chain hoists in a garage. If you have, I don't know, a really tall shop or a forklift or a gantry crane, that would work fine. But I have limited head space, and this setup was always kind of sketchy because it never picked up even. I always had to move the straps around to try to get it to work, and it was just a hassle. So I want to redesign a fixture, but first I need to get an idea of how much this body weighs, so that way we can design and build a fixture that will be adequately suited for it. Obviously, each car will be a little bit different. Coupes and convertibles will weigh a little bit different, but we can throw in an extra, I don't know, 100 pounds or something just for insurance. So I have a set of scales here that my neighbor loaned me so I could weigh overkill. So what I'm gonna do is set these scales up and we're gonna weigh the body just to get an idea of what we're looking at here. I'm guessing, which you guys can go ahead and throw down in the comment section what your guess is, but I'm guessing on the high side, I'm thinking it's gonna be 450. I think it's gonna be under 400 pounds, but we'll see. What do you guys think? Put it in the comments. So we have the body down on the scales, and we have a total of 424.34. It's alternating, so 425 pounds basically, which is really close to what I guessed. And this is just a bare shell, so we can add a lot more weight in here. There's not a lot of weight on the front. It's less than 100 pounds on the front, and the back has quite a bit more. So it checks out. We have a big cantilever back here. So either way, the body is going to be less than 500 pounds. Here's my new lifting rig that I got to pick up Corvette bodies. This was actually designed to lift up pickup truck beds. This is from Auto Twirler, and it's a adjustable unit. So I took some quick measurements, and it looks like it should be adjusted fairly well for a Corvette. I want to weld these two pieces together because right now they're just through bolted and there's just a lot of flexibility in there. So I'm gonna weld this up because we don't want that flexibility. I'm gonna hook this up to the chain hoist, suspend it over the car, and I have some straps set up here, some 4-foot long straps that go through some axle straps and through some big cargo hooks, and that will hook onto the rocker channel. So I'll put 4 of these straps on here, and then we'll figure out where these arms need to be, and then I'll probably go ahead and weld these in place also. I really don't want stuff to move once I'm happy with the layout of the jig, but first I need to mock it up just to see how it's gonna work. And I also have some extra steel here in case this needs some reinforcement in places, but they said this thing can lift like 2,000 or 3,000 pounds. So this under 500 pound body should be nothing for this thing. My new lifting rig worked really well, and I have the body set down on the chassis. Now, a nice thing about this lifting rig is that it has an adjustable pickup point in the center, so you can slide it backwards. So since we weighed the car, we know that most of the weight is in the back, which makes sense because there's just a lot more stuff here versus here. So to counteract that, I moved the pivot point or the lift point back. I could probably move it back another inch or so, because it wasn't perfectly balanced. It was still a little back heavy, but you could just pick it up just with, I don't know, maybe like 2 pounds of pressure lifting up on it. So it helped me steer it, and it helped it kind of sit down because the back wanted to set down first, and then I could bring the front down. So it actually was a pretty good setup because it kept the back end from swinging around. So I like the lift rig. I think I have a good distance on it between the body mounts. Whenever I have the little rocker tabs in there, I try to lock it between them so that way the strap won't fall out. And these straps worked really well. They're a good height. I didn't have a front end on this, so I don't know if I'm gonna have enough height whenever I have a full car I have to take a body off, but I can always drop the wheels off because that's kind of a hurdle to get around. But this worked way better than the old beam, and it didn't move at all. So I think what I'll end up doing is probably putting a weld right in here to lock this in place, and maybe a tack in there so the arms won't come out of their pockets or anything, so I won't have to worry about that. And then if I need to adjust it, I can always cut the tack. But didn't have any issues. Now I just need to work on the rear body mounts. There's bolts broken off in the body, and I need to repair the deck lids hinges. One of the springs is broken. They're also pretty rusty, so I need to take the hinge assemblies out, replace the steel cross member that goes in the body here, and then I'll service the body mounts. I'll do all that stuff next week. And then once I get to that point, I'll start to shim the body and test fit the front end, and hopefully get that thing glued on here pretty soon and in the next couple weeks. And then I'm gonna move the car over here, and then Overkill's gonna come back for a brief period of time before it goes off to its new home. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Coming up next on this car, I have to take the deck lid off, redo the deck lid hinges, and I need to replace the cross member back here, fix the rear body mounts on the body, and then we're gonna start working on getting the front end to fit, get this thing body worked, and then get it running and driving, and this thing will be going home pretty soon. So I got a lot of work to do, and I'll catch you guys later.